Welcome to the deep dive. We're here to unpack ideas and see how they connect to, well, your actual life.
Yeah.
Today, we're sort of picking up a conversation that started after a message that really invited us to think about being like the carpenter's apprentice.
Hmm.
It's about, living out what we believe, not just thinking it, but actually doing it day to day.
That's right. And the source for this deep dive is this really powerful message from Rafael Oliveira. He's a servant leader over at Agape Community Church.
Right.
And he was digging into Hebrews chapters 11 and 12 up to verse 3. And he shared some things, some really vulnerable stuff.
Yeah.
We want to explore what that means for you.
Okay, yeah, let's really get into this. Our aim here is to pull out the key insights, the helpful bits from Raphael's message. Especially for you, maybe you're just starting to explore faith, or maybe you've been on this road a while.
Mm-hmm.
And we really want to zoom in on something practical, this challenge a lot of young people face, maybe you face, with hidden struggles, finding real freedom, and how this message, well, how it offers a guide.
Definitely.
So Raphael kicked things off by kind of pushing back on how faith is often seen.
Right. Yeah, that idea of the blind leap.
Exactly. Like you just jump and hope for the best. No real basis for it. That's how the world often paints it. But he gave a totally different picture. Started with Voyager 1.
Oh, the space probe. Yeah, that was fascinating. Voyager 1 is the furthest thing humans have ever sent out.
Incredible.
And it's carrying this golden record. Just think about that for a second. The people who made that record back in the 70s, they had this faith that maybe millions of years from now, someone out there, totally unseen, might find it.
Right.
Might decode it and know we came in peace.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a pretty concrete picture of believing in something unseen, isn't it? Relying on a future hope.
It really is. So if faith isn't just this blind leap, but more like this radical trust in someone's character,
Mm-hmm.
what does that change for us? Like in just everyday stuff, career choices, relationships. We often rely on unseen things there too, right? Trusting people.
It's huge because it changes everything. Raphael then used that beautiful analogy, the one about the child.
Oh, jumping into the pool.
Yeah, with their father. The kid can't swim, would definitely drown alone, right? The danger is real,
Mm-hmm.
but they jump anyway. Why? Not because they get physics or water depth. They jump because they trust who is asking them to jump.
Their dad.
Exactly, their father. So it's not blind. It's a trusting step based on the character, the reliability of the one inviting them. So faith, biblically, isn't about ignoring reality. It's about putting your trust in a person you believe is trustworthy. It's an active thing.
That child and father picture, it really grounds it in relationship, doesn't it? Not just wishful thinking. But okay, how does this idea, this radical trust, actually work when life gets messy? Because let's be honest, trust can feel impossible sometimes.
That's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
How does it work in the mess? Well, this definition shifts faith from being like a gamble, uncertain, to this deep trust in God.
Mm.
It's about, as Raphael put it, seeing the invisible, seeing realities beyond just what our eyes can see right now,
Okay.
and then acting based on that conviction,
Yeah.
acting based on the character of the one calling you.
Yeah.
It basically reorients how you face uncertainty, moving from trying to control everything, which is exhausting,
To exhaust.
to trusting there's a greater wisdom at play, believing in a good foundation, even when you can't see the whole path ahead.
Okay, we've talked about faith as trust. But what if trusting feels impossible? What if you feel like you're living one way but believe another, or just feel broken? Raphael went there, he shared his own story really openly,
Yeah, incredibly vulnerable.
showed how this trust plays out even in the really hard parts of life. This is where it gets super personal.
Yes, it was striking.
Yeah.
He talked about growing up as a missionary kid in Brazil. Born in a small town, then moved deep into the jungle when he was 5. No schools nearby, so his parents sent him off to boarding school in a big city in the Amazon. And it was there, around 9 or 10 years old, that he first encountered pornography.
Mm-hmm.
And that became this huge hidden struggle for him. Deeply impacted his life.
And he used that phrase, Christian secret agent,
Yeah.
doing well in school, hiding it all, putting on a front at church. He said he was trying to grab both things, following his own desires, what he could see, instead of walking by faith.
Mm-hmm.
And the addiction got worse. He felt like a slave to it, just trapped. Wanted freedom, but had no idea how to get there. He felt regret, yeah, but not real change. Just this cycle of hiding and falling back.
And that story, as tough as it is to hear, it speaks so directly to what a lot of young people, maybe you listening, are going through right now.
Yeah.
silently,
Yeah.
battling hidden things. Porn, yeah, but also social media addiction, gaming, maybe even perfectionism,
Mm.
or just feeling crushed by shame,
Yeah.
living that double life. Raphael's honesty kind of opens a door, doesn't it? Shows you're not alone and change is possible.
That Christian secret agent thing, it must hit home for so many. Why is it so hard, do you think, to break free from that? To bring the hidden stuff out? What holds us back?
Well, fear. I think that's the big one. Fear of judgment, fear of being exposed, maybe fear of being rejected.
Yeah.
Shame loves the dark. It thrives in silence. And when
Yeah.
you're living that double life, all your energy goes into keeping up the act.
Right.
There's no energy left to actually fight for freedom. And Raphael's story shows so clearly, breaking free isn't just about trying harder on your own. It's about shifting where your trust is.
And importantly, it didn't happen instantly for him either. That's key.
Right. No magic wand.
He talked about this period, like 2011 to 2014. His family moved, started going to this small church, and there was a youth pastor there who actually taught the Bible like consistently.
Mhm.
And through Bible studies, retreats, camps, slowly things started to shift. It wasn't overnight. It was this gradual exposure to truth.
You mentioned Ephesians 2,
Mhm.
verses 8 to 10. That became huge for him.
Yeah, explain that a bit. What's the core idea there?
Well, it says, "For by grace you have been saved through faith."
Right.
Grace, that's the key word. It's like unearned favor, a gift.
Okay.
And this is not your own doing. It is the gift of God, not a result of works, so that no one may boast. Basically, you can't earn your way to being okay with God. It's a gift you receive through trusting him.
So it takes the pressure off.
Totally. It cut through Raphael's struggle because it showed him, look, it's not about you being good enough. It's about the object of your faith, God, who does the saving. You can't earn it. You can't mess it up so badly. You lose it once you have it. It frees you from needing to be perfect. It's about who gives the gift.
Wow. Okay. So understanding that grace, that freedom from having to earn it, that's what helped him start fighting for real freedom from the addiction.
Exactly. He then shared John 8, where Jesus says, basically, everyone who sins is a slave to sin, but if the Son sets you free, you're free indeed.
Right.
That's where faith became really practical for him. He could finally see that freedom, that joy he talked about, and start walking towards it, moving out of that hidden slavery.
So, okay, moving from belief to action. His story keeps going, right? It shows faith isn't just knowing stuff. It's about doing. It's this apprenticeship under Jesus you mentioned.
Right. Learning by doing.
Can you unpack that apprenticeship idea a bit more? What does that look like?
Yeah, it's not just a nice phrase. Think about like a traditional apprentice learning a craft, woodworking maybe. You don't just read books about wood.
You get sawdust on you.
Exactly. You watch the master, you try it yourself, you mess up, you get corrected, you practice, and slowly you start to get it. You're transformed by the practice. That's the idea with following Jesus. It's hands-on.
Okay, that makes sense. So how did that play out for Raphael next?
Well, after finding that personal freedom, he and his wife, Elise, they got married in 2015. That was a step of faith.
Mm.
Then 2017, they see this post on Facebook, a need for teachers at that same boarding school in the Amazon for missionary kids. His own job situation was uncertain. They were praying about what to do next, discerning God's lead.
So no job security, no clear plan, but they felt called.
Pretty much. They prayed, they contacted the people there, and Raphael said doors just opened really fast for that while other doors closed.
Yeah.
So they went by faith, like Abraham in Hebrews, right? Who went without knowing exactly where he was heading, just trusting God.
Wow.
They spent 4 years there, teaching, discipling these kids whose parents were out in really remote, sometimes dangerous places, sharing their faith. It wasn't just a job. It was a whole life commitment based on trust.
That really does sound like apprenticeship in action. Not just theory, but practical steps. Learning by doing, trusting God's lead, even when it's unclear.
Precisely. It's this ongoing journey. Responding, stepping out, trusting his character, even when you don't have the full map. It's learning trust through obedience.
And their journey isn't over. Their next step also requires faith.
Yeah. Moving to Missouri now for more training so they can eventually go back to the Amazon, keep discipling those kids. It's this continuous cycle, isn't it?
Mhm.
Seeing the invisible, taking the next step. It's never static.
Okay, this continuous journey, this race, as the Bible calls it, that brings us to Hebrews 12, right?
Okay.
Verses 1 and 2. Raphael tied this all together there.
He did. It says, therefore, since we are surrounded by so great a cloud of witnesses, that's all those faith heroes from chapter 11, like
Mhm.
Abraham cheering us on.
Right.
Let us also lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely, and let us run with endurance the race that is set before us, looking to Jesus, the founder and perfecter of our faith.
Okay, let's break that down. Weight and sin. He made a distinction.
Yeah, that was important. A weight isn't necessarily a sin itself. It could be something neutral, maybe even good in moderation.
Like what?
Well, maybe too many hobbies, spending way too much time scrolling online, maybe even good commitments that just aren't what God has for you right now. If it's holding you back from the race God set for you, if it's hindering your progress, it's a weight, even if it looks fine on the surface.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? What is the weight in my life? What's holding me down, even if it's not obviously bad?
It's a great question for you, the listener, to ask. Is it comparing yourself on social media? Needing everyone's approval, just being too busy, driven by fear of missing out? If it's getting in the way of your walk with God, maybe it's a weight you need to lay aside. Especially for young people, so many things pull for our attention.
Okay, so that's weights. What about sin? The stuff that is wrong?
For sin, he really emphasized bringing it into the light. Confession, especially with other people.
Why with others?
He used the analogy of mold. Sin is like mold. It grows best in dark, hidden corners. You need to expose it to the light, cut it out, confess it honestly. Don't try to run this race alone. Find trusted friends, mentors, a community. That's how you stop being the Christian secret agent.
Right, vulnerability in community.
Yeah. And he stressed this race. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Pace yourself, run together, support each other. Accountability is key.
And keep your eyes
On Jesus, always. He's the author and perfecter. He started this faith journey in you, and he's the one at the finish line, perfecting it. He guides you all the way.
What I found really encouraging, too, was his point about the heroes in Hebrews 11. They weren't perfect.
Not at all. They stumbled. Sarah laughed at God's promise. Abraham lied. Moses got scared.
Right, so perfection isn't the goal while we're running.
No. The goal is when you stumble, when you fall, you get back up. You go back to that invisible thing God wants you to see. You throw off the weight or confess the sin, and you act on his word again. This is a constant process. Faith, repentance, getting back up, keep running.
Wow. Okay. That was a really powerful deep dive into Rafael Oliveira's message. That practical call to faith lived out like an apprentice. I hope this chat has been helpful for you, connecting faith to your real life, maybe giving some guidance for those tough spots.
Absolutely. And if this discussion did resonate, if something clicked for you, maybe think about sharing it with a friend. Someone else might need to hear this perspective too. Sometimes hearing these stories just makes a difference.
Definitely. Also, just a practical note, if you have things you'd like prayer for, you can actually submit requests online at agapechurch.life.
Yeah, the prayer team there really does pray specifically for those requests. It's a great way to feel supported.
It really is.
Oh, and check out Agape Community Church's YouTube channel. Raphael mentioned it's still a work in progress, but getting better. You might find the sermon itself or other helpful stuff there.
Good point. So as you head into your week, maybe carry this question with you. What's that invisible reality, that truth God might be asking you to really see right now in your situation? And flowing from that, what's the specific weight you might need to gently lay aside so you can run your race with endurance? Just something to think about. Because whatever it is, your faith is meant to act on it.
Well said.
We look forward to connecting with you again on our next deep dive.